So today we've got a first. It's our first ever Super Bowl winning guest, and we're not kidding with you. Let's bring in Craig Colquitt, former University of Tennessee punter, played the Pittsburgh Steelers, won 2 Super Bowls, lives in Middle Tennessee. Craig, how are you, buddy? It's so good to see you.
Doing great, Joe. I appreciate this.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. What's this like for you every year when the Super Bowl rolls around, knowing that you've played in 2 of them? Plus, you played against the Rams in one of those Super Bowls. What's this week like for you when you think back?
You know, it's been more exciting than usual because Dustin played in Super Bowl 54 and Britton played in Super Bowl 50. So I've got my 2 rings and they've got a ring each. So it's really been exciting. And it's exciting to have 2 SEC quarterbacks playing too. So that's a double whammy for me.
Absolutely. When you think back that first Super Bowl, you guys beat the Cowboys. What stands out in your mind about that day? Because during this week, we see all the old clips of all the Super Bowls and everything. But what stands out for you in that game that was played down in Miami?
Other than I couldn't breathe the entire week. I mean, it's the tension and build up to the game's amazing. And the amount of media that surrounds the event and places we were able to go and the number of celebrities. I mean, that was just fantastic to meet so many different people. So that was really exciting. When we first drove into the stadium before kickoff, the Pittsburgh Steelers fans were so thick in the parking lot, they were pushing the bus, rocking us as we were rolling. And the police couldn't do anything about it, didn't even try to stop it. And it really was a good setup for our game.
I love it. We've got the Google images up of your career with your 2 sons and punting for the Steelers. You know, oftentimes we don't talk about your tenure at the University of Tennessee, and so that was cool. So you get to Pittsburgh, and you land there as a punter. I mean, you're surrounded by all these Hall of Famers, Craig. I just got to think that was a surreal moment for you looking around, and there's Jack Lambert, there's Lynn Swann, there's Bradshaw, and on and on and on. It had to be crazy.
Yeah, I'm still pinching myself. I think the older I get, we become more reflective, and I really try to put it in perspective and then think, gosh, we were in our 20s and early 30s even. Right. But the amount of talent on that team is second to none. You know, it's prior to free agency, which was a big change in the game. Of course, anybody would have left for more money back then, but free agency didn't exist. So Chuck Noll, you really have to give your hats off to him to build a team like he did.
How much contact do you have with the guys from those teams? Because I was reading one time about Bradshaw. He said very little contact because life happened. Is that kind of the way it happened with you too? I mean, you get so busy that it's kind of hard to keep up with everybody.
Oh yeah. When you start having kids and start going to soccer games and that kind of thing. So Dustin and Britton's, when they were growing up, they were nonstop. So yeah, I was with them basically for 18 years of their lives. So yeah, that happens. Now the Steelers put on reunions, which is a lot of fun. I tell people all the time it's interesting to go to these reunions and sit and close my eyes, listen to everybody talk, and everybody's voice is exactly the same. And I open my eyes and I go, wow, time's flying.
And to be a member of the Steelers and all that, so fantastic. All right, so the next year, the Steelers go out to California and play the Rams at the Rose Bowl. So you go from the Orange Bowl one year to the Rose Bowl the next year. What was that like?
The Rose Bowl was intensely Hollywood. I don't know how to put it other than that. Everybody's driving fancy cars. Everybody looks Hollywoodish. So it was kind of different. And it was my second time around, and it almost seemed like we belonged there. And the first half, we looked like it. You know, L.A. was leading us going into the half. But really, it's hard to put into words the experience, but really, I think it was a movie, Breathless. It's really, if you can get hit a few times, it seems like every time I got hit, I was then into the game. Prior to that, it was always out of body.
That's just looking at the highlights of that game. That's the one pass from Bradshaw to Stallworth in the fourth quarter, and you guys end up winning that game and going forward with that. Well, always curious about this. The bus ride from the hotel to the stadium on Super Bowl Sunday. What was that like?
way too long. Way too long. Because, everybody's trying to have a sense of humor, but it seems like it's always, you can drop a pin and hear it because it's so quiet. Everybody becomes so intense. And the locker game before those games was very intense. And I always looked to Jack Lambert because, Jack Lambert is what football is. And, if you got a fan out there that you watch that just so intense for 4 quarters, that was Jack Lambert. He kind of set the tone.
Oh, I can wait, man. I mean, you say Jack Lambert, I got chills up me right now because of how amazing of a player he was. All right, so let me ask you a couple more things with you. And thank you for your time, Craig. I really appreciate it. And we're going to talk to you also about the Empower Me part that you're doing now soon, which is fantastic. Did you lose a Super Bowl ring at a restaurant?
I did. I was entertaining, and there was probably 30 people there. And it's the last time I let people wear the ring. Yeah, because I'm a sucker for beautiful women. So I said, here, yeah, you can wear it. Let's take a picture. and that happened. But it was like 2 weeks later, I was traveling and I threw my luggage angrily into the back of the car because it was a poor show that I'd traveled so far for. And I heard a bing, 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 bing. It was stuck in my luggage. Oh. But for 2 weeks, it was like I had lost a child.
I'm so glad you found it. So do you got 2 of them. Do you wear both of them, none of them, one of them? How does this work?
Well, I kind of like to put them in people's face every now and then. But let's see, can you see that?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, this is Super Bowl 13-14. So, yeah, I wear them primarily speaking engagements, special occasions, because they're bulky. Nothing compared to Destin's and Britain's. Their single rings are 2.5 times as big as mine.
Good.
And
Lord.
yeah, I told them, I said, if you're going to wear a Super Bowl, if you in this game, after this game, you want it, measure it for your left hand because you'll not be able to wear it on your right hand and shake hands.
Oh, that's just good.
Yeah, you can't do it. It kills your hand. Even on my small one.
I bet it does. All right, again, so how did you become a punter?
It's interesting. I actually punted in high school. I was running back in the defensive end. So it was one of, back then, never even left the field. But 2 years after I left high school, I was really just a flunky. And I was working at a department store, and University of Tennessee coach, George Caffigo, who ended up being my coach, put an ad in the paper and said, if you know how to punt, we're having tryouts. So I penned a letter and sent it for a tryout and got a letter back, got a tryout, and got to be coached by George Caffigo, and just a unique style of coaching. In fact, I use his coaching today. Johnny Majors came in my senior year, and every time we saw each other when he was alive, I said, you're the reason I got into the pros. And he said, no, you got yourself in the pros. So, but Majors was all about the kicking game. So it was a big change for me.
You answered an ad, and you became
answered an ad in the newspaper.
Craig, that's fantastic.
Yeah, it worked out pretty good.
I want to bring up this as well too. You're now the chairman of the Empower Me Center board. Was story this week in the Wilson Post. Why is this important that you do this?
This is special needs. And, in the past, Dustin and Britton and myself, we've been involved with Special Olympics in one way or another. But I ran into these folks accidentally just riding around in the countryside where they were set up and property they bought, and contacted them and realized what Empower Me was about special needs, and got to meet the folks and, what the programs were like. And it's kind of like, I have 2 very healthy sons. I have 9 healthy grandchildren. And I tell people I've got 6 punters and 3 agents. So the way I look at it is we are a blessed family. We're healthy. And I want to give back to these parents that are so committed to their children that it's my platform to say, hey, I'm with you. What can I do for you?
And it's just based here in Middle Tennessee.
It's based in Lebanon, and we're trying to build or raising money to build a state-of-the-art facility out here that could accommodate on an ongoing basis about 1,500 children. I think the estimate is about 130, 140,000 special needs kids in the Tennessee area. So nationwide, you can imagine that number.
Yeah. Thank you for doing this. You ever need any help getting the word out, Craig, please let us know. We'll help promote what you guys need and everything.
We need $20 million.
20 million. Well, if I win Powerball, I'll help you out, buddy. Absolutely.
Let's do it. Let's play. We'll play every Wednesday.
Yeah, every Wednesday and Saturday. I play twice a week. Craig, thank you. Thank you for your heart. Thank you for your soul. Thank you for your passion. And thank you for your time this morning. I could talk to you for days. It's great, man. Thank you for everything, buddy.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you, brother.
Colquitt, there he is. Two-time Super Bowl champion with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Lives right here in Lebanon. Oh, man, can you imagine losing a Super Bowl ring? Oh, my goodness.